You open your eyes. It's dark. The clock reads 2:43 a.m. again. Maybe it's the third time this week, or maybe it's every night now. You're not in pain, you're not worried, at least not consciously. But your body, without asking permission, has jolted itself awake as if danger were near. This isn't aging. It's not a random pattern. It's your body sounding an internal alarm, and the hormone behind that alarm is cortisol. Cortisol isn't the enemy. It's your survival hormone. It kept your ancestors alert to predators and danger. But at age 70 or beyond, your brain can misread silence as threat, triggering a surge of this hormone in the middle of the night. Fast heartbeats, sudden alertness, eyes open wide. You're not imagining it. You're not alone. And yes, it's fixable. What most people over 70 don't realize is that this type of awakening has a biological fingerprint. Studies now show that over 90% of older adults who wake up between 2 and 4 a.m. are being disrupted by a cortisol spike, not simply light sleep or old age. Your body, still holding on to decades of stress, has learned to stay vigilant, even during rest. The problem is, that vigilance is stealing your nights. The good news? This isn't a battle you need to fight with sedatives or sleeping pills that knock you out and leave you foggy. New clinical findings have shown that certain natural compounds, some of which you're already familiar with, can stop cortisol at its source, restoring true sleep, not forced unconsciousness. The key is not to suppress your brain, but to retrain your body to feel safe again. Over the next few minutes, we're going to walk you through 5 of the most effective, scientifically backed medications and natural compounds that help lower nighttime cortisol in people over 70. These aren't gimmicks. They're rooted in decades of clinical data, patient experience, and the newest sleep research of 2024. Because sleeping through the night at your age isn't a luxury. It's a right, and it's possible again. Cortisol is often misunderstood. Many see it as a villain, but in truth, it's your body's built-in alert system, essential during the day, but deeply disruptive when it shows up uninvited at night. After age 70, this hormone can become confused. Instead of rising with the sun, it begins to spike in the early hours, waking you with a sense of unease, tension, or restlessness. Not because you're in danger, but because your body has forgotten how to feel safe. At its core, cortisol is a hormone released by your adrenal glands in response to perceived stress. It's part of a complex system called the hypothalamic pituitary adrenal (HPA) axis. When you were younger, this system worked like a thermostat, rising when needed, then shutting off. But as the years pass and stress compounds silently, this thermostat becomes hypersensitive. The result? It overreacts at night when there's no threat at all. This overreaction often happens without you even noticing. There's no dramatic dream, no racing thoughts, just a sudden awareness, a small burst of adrenaline, a heart that beats a little too fast. That's cortisol, pulling you out of sleep to protect you, even when there's nothing to fear. It's not your fault. It's not a weakness. It's simply a stress pattern, deeply embedded and waiting to be reset. Most traditional sleep aids fail to address this root cause. They attempt to force sleep through sedation rather than support your body's natural sleep-wake cycle. That's why many older adults report feeling groggy, disoriented, or emotionally flat after taking them. But when we address cortisol directly, when we calm the adrenal system instead of shutting it down, sleep comes more easily and without those side effects. Understanding this mechanism is the first step toward real change. If your body can unlearn peace, it can also relearn it. In the next segments, you'll discover 5 specific compounds that do exactly that. They don't just knock you out, they gently reset your stress response system. And for many, that's the turning point between restless nights and truly restorative sleep. Magnesium is not just a supplement, it's a signal. A signal to your nervous system that it's safe to let go. For adults over 70, magnesium deficiency is shockingly common, yet often overlooked. Nearly 80% of seniors have low magnesium levels, and few realize that this quiet deficiency can be the root cause of restless nights, tense muscles, and, most importantly, elevated nighttime cortisol. Magnesium glycinate stands apart from other forms. It's not just magnesium on its own. It's paired with glycine, an amino acid that has calming properties of its own. Together, they form a compound that doesn't sedate you, but soothes your entire system. When taken before bed, magnesium glycinate works on two powerful pathways. It lowers cortisol and it enhances serotonin production, the feel-good neurotransmitter that transforms into melatonin, your natural sleep hormone. This combination doesn't force sleep. Instead, it builds the right internal conditions for sleep to arrive on its own. By calming NMDA receptors in your brain, the ones overstimulated by stress, magnesium glycinate reduces that wired, alert feeling that can linger at night even when your body is exhausted. Meanwhile, glycine lowers your core body temperature, which is one of the key triggers your brain uses to initiate deep sleep. What makes magnesium glycinate so powerful for seniors is its long-term effect. It's not about instant results, though many people do notice improvements in the first few nights. When taken consistently, starting with a low dose of 200 milligrams about an hour before bed, the body gradually restores its magnesium stores. Over time, this creates a buffer against daily stress, making your adrenal system less reactive and your nights more peaceful. For even better results, magnesium glycinate can be mixed into warm water or caffeine-free tea, turning it into a bedtime ritual, one that not only aids absorption but tells your body, gently and clearly, it's time to rest now. And unlike other forms of magnesium, glycinate is gentle on the stomach and highly bioavailable, meaning your body actually uses it, not just excretes it. For many older adults, this small shift becomes the foundation of a new sleep rhythm, one built not on chemicals or force, but on real balance. Imagine if your brain had a dial, one you could turn gently to lower the noise, soften the thoughts, and quiet the tension. That's exactly what L-theanine does. Found naturally in green tea, this compound doesn't sedate you or dull your mind. Instead, it gently guides your brain into a state of calm awareness, clear, relaxed, and deeply ready for sleep. For people over 70, where cortisol imbalances often come from long-term accumulated stress, L-theanine offers a kind of nervous system re-education. It doesn't knock you out. Instead, it helps your brain remember what calm feels like. Research shows that just 200 milligrams of L-theanine taken 30 to 60 minutes before bed can reduce cortisol levels by nearly 50% while increasing GABA, your body's natural calming neurotransmitter. GABA acts like your brain's volume control. When boosted, it turns down the mental static, racing thoughts, background worry, that unsettled feeling you sometimes can't explain. What makes L-theanine unique is that it increases GABA without causing drowsiness. Instead, it shifts your brain into alpha wave activity, the same kind of relaxed mental state experienced during meditation or deep creative focus. Because L-theanine doesn't cause grogginess or interfere with daytime clarity, it's ideal for older adults who want better sleep without sacrificing alertness the next morning. And when combined with magnesium glycinate, the two create a powerful synergy, calming both mind and body while lowering cortisol through complementary pathways. Still, it's best to start one at a time, giving your body space to respond naturally. To get the full benefit, avoid using green tea as a source of L-theanine before bed. It contains caffeine, which cancels out the effect. Instead, look for a purified supplement in capsule or powder form. Taken with a small amount of water or herbal tea, it works fast, often within 30 minutes. And what follows isn't sedation, but ease. Your breathing slows, your chest loosens, and for the first time in a long while your thoughts drift, not with worry, but with rest. Stress doesn't always show itself in loud ways. For many older adults, it accumulates quietly, in tight shoulders, in shallow breaths, in the 3 a.m. wake-ups that seem to come from nowhere. Ashwagandha, an ancient adaptogenic herb used for over 3,000 years in Ayurvedic medicine, works not by masking stress, but by teaching your body how to respond to it differently. What makes ashwagandha especially valuable for those over 70 is its dual action. It not only lowers cortisol in the moment, with studies showing reductions up to 58%, but it also helps reset the entire stress response system over time. That means less reactivity, more resilience, and deeper, more restorative sleep as weeks go by. This isn't just theory. Clinical studies using 600 milligrams of standardized extract, specifically KSM, 66 or sensoril, have shown that older adults not only slept longer and deeper but also experienced improvements in energy, memory, and mood. This is because ashwagandha works directly on the hypothalamic pituitary adrenal, HPA, axis, the command center for stress hormones, recalibrating it from the inside out. To absorb its full benefit, ashwagandha should be taken about an hour before bed, ideally with a small amount of healthy fat, like almond butter or coconut oil, to enhance absorption. Unlike sedatives, which may work fast but fade quickly, ashwagandha builds up slowly. Most people notice sleep improvements within the first week, but its full cortisol-lowering potential unfolds over 4 to 6 weeks, requiring consistency and patience. The transformation is subtle but powerful. You begin to feel less pulled by stress. Your nights stretch longer uninterrupted, and gradually, your body begins to remember what deep rest felt like before stress made itself a permanent resident. Ashwagandha doesn't just help you sleep, it helps you reclaim a sense of safety inside your own body, one night at a time. Your brain has its own control center for stress, a biological switchboard that decides when to stay calm and when to react. As we age, that switch can get stuck in the on position. For many adults over 70, this means constantly elevated cortisol levels, especially at night. Phosphatidylserine is a naturally occurring fat compound that helps flip that switch back to balance, reducing stress signals at their source. This compound lives in the membranes of your brain cells and is essential for healthy communication between neurons. But with age, phosphatidylserine levels decline sharply, often by as much as 50%. That decline weakens the brain's ability to regulate cortisol production, leading to nighttime surges that interrupt sleep. Supplementing with this key molecule has been shown to reduce nighttime cortisol by up to 70% in as little as 10 days. More than just lowering cortisol, phosphatidylserine improves how your brain responds to stress. It strengthens the membranes of the hypothalamus and pituitary gland, the control towers for hormonal signals, making them less reactive and more stable. This means fewer false alarms during the night and a smoother transition between sleep cycles. In clinical studies, older adults reported significantly improved sleep quality, often within the first week of supplementation. The ideal dosage is 300 milligrams taken 30 to 45 minutes before bed, preferably with a light snack for better absorption. Choose versions derived from sunflower lecithin rather than soy, as they tend to be better tolerated. Importantly, phosphatidylserine is not a sedative. It doesn't override your system, it rebalances it. That's what makes its effects feel so natural, calm without heaviness, alertness without tension. For many seniors, the shift feels like a light dimming gradually, rather than a switch being flipped. Sleep becomes easier to fall into and easier to stay in. Over time, the consistent use of phosphatidylserine creates a calmer baseline, reducing background anxiety and restoring a deeper, more stable form of rest that had slowly faded over the years. Sometimes, the most powerful solutions are the simplest. Glycine is a small amino acid, one your body already produces, but in older adults, natural levels often fall short. And what science has uncovered recently is nothing short of remarkable. Just 3 grams of glycine before bed can dramatically reduce nighttime cortisol, increase deep sleep cycles by over 250%, and restore a sense of rest many haven't felt in years. Glycine works through multiple pathways. First, it gently lowers your core body temperature, a natural cue that signals to your brain it's time for sleep. Second, it acts directly on the central nervous system as an inhibitory neurotransmitter, calming overactive neurons and muting the signals that trigger stress and wakefulness. Unlike sedatives, it doesn't overpower your system, it works with it. For older adults who find themselves tossing, turning, or waking at the same time each night, glycine offers a quiet reset. Within 20 to 30 minutes of taking it, most people report a wave of calm, not drowsiness, but ease. It's like your body is finally given permission to let go. And because it supports the glymphatic system, which clears waste from the brain during sleep, you wake not groggy, but sharper, more clear-headed and alert. Another unique benefit, glycine actually improves sleep architecture. This means not just more sleep, but better sleep, more time spent in deep, restorative stages where the body repairs tissue, consolidates memory, and produces growth hormone. For those over 70, this quality of sleep can translate into more energy, better balance, and sharper thinking during the day. Taking glycine is simple. Mix 3 grams of pure powder into a small glass of water or herbal tea about 30 minutes before bed. It dissolves easily, tastes slightly sweet, and leaves no aftertaste. Over time, many people report that even when they forget to take it, their sleep remains strong. A sign that glycine isn't just helping you sleep tonight, it's helping your body remember how to sleep well again. Real change doesn't come from a single pill, it comes from a system. The 5 compounds we've explored, magnesium glycinate, L-theanine, ashwagandha, phosphatidylserine, and glycine, each work through different channels, but together, they form a natural sleep protocol that directly targets the root cause of sleep disturbance in older adults, cortisol imbalance. You don't need to start with all 5. In fact, starting with one, like magnesium glycinate or glycine, allows your body to adjust and respond gently. Over time, you can layer in others based on your unique needs and how your system reacts. What matters most is consistency. These aren't short-term solutions. They build strength night by night, calming the nervous system, retraining the brain, and lowering stress responses over time. Supporting these compounds with a simple routine enhances their impact. Dim the lights an hour before bed. Avoid screens if possible. Take your chosen supplement the same time each night, ideally with a warm drink or light snack. These quiet signals tell your body it's time to shift from alert to rest, from tension to renewal. Your biology responds best when it feels rhythm, not chaos. What makes this approach so powerful is that it respects your body's wisdom. Instead of forcing sleep through sedation, it restores the natural conditions your body needs to rest. And for many people over 70, that's exactly what's been missing. Not willpower, not effort, but balance. A chance to feel peace again, not only through the night, but into each new day. You've carried a lifetime of stress. Now it's time to let your body rest, fully, deeply, naturally. This isn't about age. It's about giving your nervous system what it needs to do what it was always designed to do, restore itself while you sleep. And with each passing night, that restoration becomes easier, stronger, and more complete. One night at a time.